So at the end of day 4 at the European Championships, I'm with Dave Ullman. Dave, you're not racing this week, you're coaching the Blue Moon team.
Coaching Blue Moon and Pablo Saldini.
Okay, and how's that experience been for you?
I've actually done a lot of coaching in my life, so it's not terribly different. It's actually fun when you have a team like Blue Moon. It's easy.
Okay.
Yeah. They do everything. I don't do anything.
I'm sure that's not true, but I take your point. So Dave, tell us a bit about the standard of racing that you've observed here in Hyères this week. Seems to me to be pretty high.
I think we're going to find at the Worlds that the European standard is considerably higher than the U.S. standard right now. Everybody, top 15 are sailing quite well. You look around and everybody's doing a really nice job. So the standard, but that happens when you get 60, 70 boats sailing, every once a month or whatever. The standard goes up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody pushes everybody harder.
Can you narrow it down to kind of key points during a typical race? Is it the starts or the boat speed?
It's all the parts. There's no one thing that stands out, though. The starting is pretty good. Even on the recalls, it looks like everybody's over by 3 or 4 feet, not 15 or 20 feet. And just the general standard. The boat handling's good. The trim is good. I mean, you look around in the top boats, and as you look at them, there's nothing to point out. It just all looks quite right.
So it looks like going into the final day, we've got a bit of a showdown between Uka and Alina. I haven't seen the overall results at this point.
I haven't seen the results, but it must be pretty close. Yeah.
I think it's down to maybe 6 points between the two of them now.
We must be, about another 7 or 8 behind?
Sure, because your guys have won a race today and had a good day on the water.
Two good races, 2 keepers. So, we will have moved up a bit, and the goal is always the podium finish, and if it works out to a better podium finish, well, that's all the better.
So what will you be telling your guys in terms of a strategy tomorrow?
I don't have to tell them anything. They got 2 world champions on board, a team that won the Worlds and Sebastian, so, they know what to do. I don't have to tell them anything.
Last question for you, Dave. I'm sure like everybody else, you learn every time you go on the water. Have you learned anything this week?
Learned a ton. There's lots of techniques I picked up, and just looking at sails. You learn every time you go to regatta. You learn, I think, even more when you're on the coach boat. Yeah.
Sure.
So it's good. I wish I was sailing the Worlds, but it's the way it goes.
We all wish you were sailing the Worlds, Dave.
Sometimes you get to, sometimes you don't.
Just one last question. Last question. Noticed a lot of jibs out downwind this week.
Yes.
Is that something you've seen before in the class?
We've tested it for 10 years. And about 5 years ago, we thought it was about a push, but techniques are just getting better, and now it's pretty clear you have to do it. Anytime you're planing, it looks like jib out, and my guess is pretty soon jib out when you're not planing.
Right.
I think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see all but light air people sailing around with the jibs out.
Okay.
And it's just the techniques are getting better.
Just sheeted very loosely?
Sheeted very loosely, just using it as a staysail, especially in smooth water. My guess is in smooth water in 8 or 9 knots we'll see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave, that's really interesting. Thanks for talking to us today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Great to see you in here.
Good to be here.